Good day, everyone. I'm Elmi Eugene Sarongon Palermo, and I'm the first discussant in teaching viewing. In our past discussion, we are already done discussing in some macro skills in speaking, reading, writing, and listening. At this moment, we will be discussing in teaching viewing. So, what is the importance of teaching viewing in education? And for us to be guided in this discussion, let us now proceed in our lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students are expected to first, understand the importance of viewing as a micro skill. Second, value the active viewers do and explore the frameworks of viewing. We are now living in a visual world. The advent of the internet and the digital revolution, the ubiquity of mobile devices which allow us to capture still and moving images easily, the appearance of video sharing platforms such as YouTube and Vimeo, and the emergence of social media networks such as Instagram and Facebook. Those users upload largely visual content have all contributed to an extraordinary rise in visual communication and to the image and increasingly the moving images becoming the primary mode of communication around the world. The majority of texts young people encounter and create are multimodal. A multimodal text is one where the meaning is communicated by one more than one mode. Example, written text, audio, still pictures, moving pictures, gestures, use of space, and etc. Digital multimodal text can include, for example, videos, slideshows, and web pages, while live multimodal text can include theater, storytelling, and dance. The fact that communication nowadays is largely multimodal changes the construct of communicative competence. This has huge implications for our educational system. And now, let us proceed in defining viewing. So, what is viewing? In the Canadian Common Curriculum Framework, viewing is defined as follows: an active process of attending and comprehending visual media, such as television, advertising images, films, diagrams, symbols, photographs, videos, drama, drawings, sculpture, and paintings. So, viewing is about reading, analyzing, evaluating, and appreciating visual text. Viewing is an active rather than a passive process. Why is viewing important? We are language teachers, so it's obvious we should focus on the written and spoken word in our classes. So, why images or multimodal text used should images matter at all to language teachers? Many teachers argue that language and text-based approaches should take priority and that the image just distracts from the word. However, such as the majority of the texts our students are accessing outside the classroom are visual text and multimodal text, which use images. Surely we should give our students opportunities to read, analyze, and evaluate these types of text in the classroom. Furthermore, the majority of these multimodal texts, YouTube videos, infographics, websites, blogs, social media sites, are a combination of print, text, and image, where the image, far from distracting from the text, actually enhance it. Therefore, viewing is important because as students are dealing with mainly multimodal text, they need to understand them and to become more effective, active, and critical viewers to be able to participate fully in society. Viewing helps students develop the knowledge and skills to analyze and evaluate visual text and multimodal text that use visuals. Viewing also helps students acquire information and appreciate ideas and experiences visually communicated by others. And now, we are already done in identifying and explaining why viewing is important. And now, let us proceed on what do active users do. According to the Canadian Common Curriculum Framework, active and effective viewers would ask themselves a series of questions such as: what is the text representing? How is the text constructed? What assumptions, interests, beliefs, biases, and values are portrayed by the text? What is the purpose of the text? To whom is the text directed? Who does the text include? What is my reaction to the text? What causes this reaction? And lastly, what personal connections and associations can I make with this text? Let us be guided that it's important that students are aware that understanding the viewing process is as important as understanding the listening and reading process. Students should understand the effective active viewers engage in the following procedures. Pre-viewing. Students prepare to view by activating their schema, the prior knowledge they bring to the study of a topic or theme, anticipating a message, predicting, speculating, asking questions, and setting a purpose for viewing. During viewing, students view the visual text to understand the message by seeking and checking understanding, by making connections, making and confirming predictions and inference, interpreting and summarizing, pausing and reviewing, and analyzing and evaluating. Students should monitor their understanding by connecting to their schema, questioning, and reflecting. Now, let us proceed in after viewing or responding. Students should be given opportunities to respond personally, critically, and creatively to visual text. Students respond by reflecting, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And now, we're now going to explore the one framework from three frameworks which has been developed by prestigious institutions to help students become better viewers. These models, which have been tried and tested with thousands of students at schools and universities around the world with great success, help to systemize viewing effectively into the language classroom. Film and video, the 3 C's and 3 S. This framework was developed by Intofilm and is used widely in schools in United Kingdom. The 3 C's, color, camera, character, and the 3 S, story, setting, sound. Framework can be used to help students discuss and analyze all the elements of a film text. Story, setting, sound, color, character, and camera are simple headings with discussion questions teachers can use as an easy way for exploring any film. Here are some of the discussion questions. The simplicity of the 3 C's and 3 S framework makes it easy to remember and use. To officially conclude our discussion this day, viewing helps students to slow down, reflect, and think about the images they are seeing and develop the knowledge and skills to analyze and evaluate visual text and multimedia text that use visuals. Viewing also helps students acquire information and appreciate ideas and experiences visually communicated by others. Undoubtedly, viewing will become part of English language curricula in many more countries in the near future, and we, as teachers, need to be able to help our students become more effective viewers. To achieve this, there needs to be specific multimodality and visual literacy training on pre-service in-service training courses. And that's the end of my discussion. Thank you for listening.
Hey, good morning. Today we are going to explore the two powerful methods of engaging with visual art. So both of which encourage deep thinking, observation, and discussion. So these three methods are called the See, Think, Wonder routine and the visual thinking strategies. So both were developed to help students make thoughtful observation and develop their own interpretation when engaging with paintings and photographs. Before we'll dive into these routines work and how they foster critical thinking skills, let us know first our objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students can understand the importance of the see, think, and wonder routine and use a different approach works in visual thinking strategies. Now, let's begin with the see, think, and wonder routine. So this routine developed by researchers at Harvard University's Project Zero. So this routine is designed to encourage students to slow down and carefully observe a piece of art or photography. The beauty of this approach is that it's simple yet powerful and it helps students distinguish between what they see and what they think about what they see. So this process is built, built around three key questions. Okay, number one is what do you see? Number two is what do you think about what you see? And what does it make you wonder? And we will discuss this one by one. First is what do you see? So this question encouraged the observer to make pure objective observations. So it's all about noting the visible elements in the artwork without interfering meaning or informing or forming interpretations. So what color are represents, what object can be identified, what is the compositions like, and so on. Number two is what do you think about what you see? So this second question asks students to move beyond basic observation and start thinking about what those elements might represent. Now, you're moving into interpretation. So what does this image make you feel? What do you think it means? Why is this element important? And why does it relate to what's going on the world? Number three, so what does it make you wonder? Finally, these questions invite curiosity. So it opens the floor for questions, encouraging students to consider other perspectives, delve deeper, or think about possible hidden meanings. So what might the artist have been trying to convey, or what is left unsaid in the image, and or what more is to explore. Now, by separating the two questions, so what do you see and what do you think about what you see, the routine helps students distinguish between factual observation and personal interpretation. So, this separation is important because it fosters critical thinking. It stimulates curiosity and invite further explorations. Now, let's move on to the visual thinking strategies. So the visual thinking strategies is a method co-developed by Abigail Hawson and Philip Yenawine around 30 years ago. So the goal of the VTS is to build visual literacy, which is the ability to interpret and make meaning from visual images. So it helps students not only understand art, but also to think critically and communicate their ideas effectively. So the VTS method works through a very interactive process. So first, the students are asked to silently examine carefully selected art images, and then afterwards, the teacher asks the following open three question or the following. The teacher asks the following three open-ended questions. So, what's going on the picture? What do you see that make you say that? And what more can we find? Now we will discuss this one by one. So what's going on the picture? Now if you look into the picture, so you are going to ask what is going on the picture. So this is the first question that encourages students to start interpreting the image. So it is not just about what happening in the picture, but also about reading the emotion, the actions, or the narrative. Number two, so what do you see that makes you say that? So this question asks the students to provide evidence for their interpretation. What elements of the image support their thinking? What is the crucial step because it grounds the discussion in observation and prevent random or unsupported conclusion? And lastly, what more can we find? So this question invites deeper analysis to encourages students to look again, pay attention to details they may have missed, and explore multiple possible interpretations. It is a call to continue questioning and thinking critically. As students respond to these questions, so they encourage in discussion where they, number one, look carefully at the image and make observations. Number two, talk about what they observe, backing up their ideas with evidence, and listen and consider the views of others, expanding their own understanding. Discuss many possible interpretations, recognizing that there may be different ways to interpret the image. And what about the teacher? For teachers, the teacher plays a key role here. So they listen carefully to each comment, paraphrase responses, help students develop their language skills, point to features in the artwork during the discussion to guide the analysis, facilitate and encourage a student to scaffold their observation building on each other ideas, and validate individual views, reinforcing that all perspectives are valuable. And lastly, link related ideas, pointing out where students agree or disagree and helping them explore those points further. So this approach fosters a collaborative, open-minded discussion where students co-construct meaning together. And it's not just about finding their answer, but rather about engaging in an ongoing conservation and encourages critical thinking and diverse perspective. So both see thinking, wonder, and visual thinking strategies emphasize careful observation, thoughtful interpretation, and importance of questioning. So they help develop not just visual literacy, but also critical thinking and communication skills. So this routine make art and photographs more accessible, allowing students to encourage with them in a meaningful and reflective way. So by fostering curiosity and encouraging deep discussion, both approaches help students see art not just as a picture, but as a gateway to greater understanding and exploration. So I hope you guys understand our lesson for today. And I am your teacher, Dexter. And again, good morning and goodbye.
So, good morning everyone. So, this is the continuation of our topic, the teaching viewing. So, my topic is all about challenges in teaching viewing. So, teaching viewing skills present unique challenges requiring educators to navigate a landscape of evolving media, diverse students' needs, and the need to foster critical thinking. Here are some challenges in teaching viewing. So first is diverse learning style, second is access to technology, third is critical thinking skills, fourth is time constraints, five is engagement with media, and last is assessing learning. Diverse learning style. Students learn and process information differently. So as a teacher, we know that in a classroom we have a diverse learner. So as a teacher, we need to be flexible because our students learn differently so that no one will be left behind in the lesson or the discussion. So, for example, Sarah, a visual learner, excels when information is presented through charts, diagrams, and written notes. She takes detailed notes during class and prefers to see visual examples to understand concepts clearly. Second is access to technology. Not all students have the same level of access to technology and internet, which can create barriers to learning. For example, a teacher assigns a project where students must watch an educational video online and analyze its content to answer questions. So, Tommy, a student from a low-income household, doesn't have access to a computer or reliable internet at home. So as a result, he's unable to watch the video or complete the assignment. So Lily, on the other hand, has access to a tablet and high-speed internet, so she can easily watch the video. So Tommy, as a student from a low-income household, doesn't have access to a computer or reliable internet at home. As a result, he's unable to watch the video or complete the assignment. So Lily, on the other hand, has access to tablet and a high-speed internet, so she can easily watch the video and engage with the materials. Next is critical thinking skills. So, by teaching students to apply critical thinking skills while viewing different types of media, educators help them become more discerning consumers of information and better at drawing their own informed conclusions. So, for example, you play a short video to your students about the water cycle as a part of science lesson. After that, the teacher can ask questions like what did the water look like? And number 4 is time constraints. Limited amount of time teachers have to effectively present and analyze media in the classroom and have various subjects to cover. So teachers often struggle to balance the time needed for students to engage with the critically analyzed visual materials, so that teachers must carefully plan how to maximize time while ensuring students still have opportunities for meaningful analysis and discussion. And number 5 is engaging in media. Keeping students engaged with various media forms can be challenging because each student has different preferences and attention span. While some may be captivated by traditional films, others may be find online videos more engaging due to interactive or shorter formats. So as a teacher, you need to be creative in selecting media that aligns with students' interests, using mixed formats and activities to maintain attention and ensure active engagement throughout the lesson. Last is assessing learning. So assessing learning, students' learning and viewing can be subjective and challenging to quantify, especially when focusing on critical thinking and interpretation. So assessing learning, it involves evaluating how well students understand and critically engage with the media they view. So that's the end of my topic. Thank you for watching and listening.
Good day, everyone. Good day, ma'am. So, this is the continuation of the topic of viewing comprehension. For objectives, student will identify key elements of visual media such as color, shapes, symbols, and composition, and explain how these elements contribute to the overall message or theme. So, viewing comprehension is the ability of the participants to understand, interpret, analyze, and critically evaluate what they are viewing. And it is also involves interpreting images and connecting visual images and videos, computer programs, and websites. So, in viewing comprehension, this is what we always doing in our daily life as in school. And viewing comprehension is a skill. This is a skill which is increasingly important in today's digital and media rich environment. So it is matter for us as a learner or future educator that in this era where people are bombarded with visual media daily, viewing comprehension helps individuals navigate, and critically engage with this content, making it essential literacy skill. So, example of viewing comprehension is interpreting a graph or chart to understand data trends. Also, another example is analyzing a commercial to identify persuasive techniques. So next, so just as reading comprehension involves understanding written text, viewing comprehension requires viewers to process visual messages, recognize their purpose, and interpret their meanings within the context. So viewing comprehension, when we say comprehensive, uh, um, we're doing our best to comprehend a text or maybe a text, a video, or charts in our environment. So next, we have a key aspects of viewing comprehension. Number one is the interpretation of visual elements. It is understanding symbols, colors, layout, and imagery, recognizing relationships between visuals and accompanying text or narration. So, in key aspect number one, it is when we say understanding symbol, colors, layout, and imagery. Example is sa when we say sa and colors, understanding that red can symbolize danger, and while blue might represent calmness or trust in person. So, in symbols, we comprehend that recognizing a dove as a symbol of peace or a heart icon representing a love. In images, we comprehend that interpreting a photo of a dry, crack, crack earth as a representation of drought or climate change. And number last is gestures and expressions. We comprehend that reading body language or facial expressions in an image to understand emotions. And key aspects number two is critical thinking. And key aspect number two, number one is evaluating purpose. So when we evaluate purpose, it is analyzing why an advertisement uses specific imagery or slogans. Another example is distinguishing fact from opinion, questioning whether an infographic presents verified data or subjective claims. Another example is understanding propaganda, identifying techniques like loaded images or symbols in political campaigns to manipulate opinions. Next is key aspect number three, contextual understanding. And aspect number three is another example is historical context. Historical context is understanding visual based on the time period they represent. Cultural context is interpreting images or symbols based on cultural significance, and social context relating visuals to current social issues or movements. And the last key aspects is integration with other skills. Example is combining viewing and reading skills, interpreting a graphic novel where images and text work together to tell a story, and another example is analyzing an infographic that uses charts and labels alongside explanatory text to present complex information. In viewing com- comprehension, we have activities to enhance viewing comprehension. It is another one is picture walks. Picture walks discussing images in a book or presentation before reading the text. Another example is visual analysis, breaking down an image, video, or infographic into its components. Another example is comparison task. Comparison task is when we comparing visuals from different sources or mediums. And another example is creative interpretation. When we say creative interpretation, we are writing a story or giving a verbal explanation based on a visual prompt. So here's the example of viewing comprehension, watching a film or documentary and discussing its themes and messages, deciphering political cartoons or memes. So, for my summary, viewing comprehension is the ability to understand, interpret, and evaluate visual media like images, videos, and graphics. It involves analyzing visual elements, recognizing context, and applying critical thinking to interpret the intended message. This skill is essential in today's media-rich world to navigate and engage with visual content effectively. So that's all from my report. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, this is Ivy Corpus Lastimoso, and today we will discuss about the levels of viewing or the different types of question. But first, let us define first what is viewing. Viewing refers to the ability of individuals or the audience or viewers to understand or interpret the meaning of visual in media. So, in an educational or testing context, the audience's understanding a visual presentation can be assessed by asking question. Now, let's proceed to the different types of question. First, we have the literal questions. So, this question tests a viewer's ability to recall facts or information that is explicitly stated in the visual material. So, for example, here is if a video shows someone eating an apple, a literal question might be, what did the person eat? Next is the inferential question. These go beyond what is directly shown and ask as a viewer to interpret or infer meaning from what is implied. So this requires the audience to make educated guesses based on clues. So for example, if a video shows someone looking sadly at an empty table, so an inferential question might be, why is the person sad? And the answer might not be explicitly stated but could be inferred from the context. So perhaps the person is missing a meal or a loved one. Next is the appreciative. So this type of question or responses encourages viewers to form a personal reaction to a character, situation, or the overall purpose of the video or media. It asks how the viewers feel about the scene and what kind of emotional or personal connection they have with it. So, for example, after watching a movie, an appreciative question might be, how did the main character's actions make you feel? Or, what do you think the director was trying to communication with the scene? Next is the critic. Critic involves a critical judgment of the media style, execution, and overall presentation. It asks viewers to analyze how well the author, director, or creator has conveyed their ideas. So, this could involve evaluating the writing style, language use, or how effectively the director's choices contribute to the overall message or experience. So, a critic might ask, how effective was the director's use of lighting in the scene? Or do you think the author's language helps to convey the mood of this story effectively? Next, let's proceed to the evaluative. Evaluative responses focus on whether the viewer agrees or disagrees with the point of view presented by the scriptwriter, author, director, or director. So it requires the viewers to form a opinion about the message or argument being presented and to decide whether they align with. So for example, after watching a documentary on climate change, an evaluative question could be, do you agree with the filmmakers argument about global warming, or what is your opinion on the message being conveyed? And the last is the essential questions, a prompt to the viewers to connect the issues or themes presented in the media to real world situations. So this question requires the viewer to recognize the relevance of the media to their own life or to larger societal issues. So for example, After watching a story about poverty, an essential question might ask, how does this issue of poverty relate to the real world challenges that people face today? Or can you identify similar struggles happening in your community? So that would be all the different types of question or the levels of viewing.
Good day everyone. Now we will proceed to the teaching viewing strategies. So as a future educator, it is important to know this kind of different strategies in order to help students prepare to be thoughtfully, critical, and creativity in engaging to the visual world. So our objective is at the end of the lesson, the student can understand the different strategies in teaching viewing. So the first strategies is the before viewing. So the purpose of before viewing is to help students prepare to be actively engaged, ethically, and meaningfully to the visual content. So there are 4 anchor strategies, which are the viewing of purpose, preview, project, and connect. So next strategies is the during viewing. So the purpose of during viewing is to help students keep actively engaged with the content as they watch and ensure that they focus on the key ideas, analyze what they see, and make connection to their prior knowledge. So there are 4 anchor strategies also, which are the stop, clarify, questions, and infer. So next strategies is after viewing. So the purpose of after viewing is to help students reflect on, analyze, synthesize the content they've watched. Also ensuring that the viewing experience lead to the deeper learning and understanding. So there are 4 anchor strategies, which are the summarize, analyze, create, and socialize. So last strategies is the extended viewing. So the purpose of extended viewing is to help students deepen their understanding and engage them with the visual content and encourage them to analyze, reflect on, and apply what they have learned during the over a long period. So there are also 4 anchor strategies, which are reflect, create, critique, and design. So for our conclusion,
teaching viewing is a critical aspect of modern education as it equips students with the skills to actively engage with, interpret, and analyze visual and multimedia text. In an age dominated by visual communication, from videos and films to digital media and advertisement, teaching viewing helps students become critical consumers of information and thoughtful creators of content.